many Primo Levi, many versions of Primo Levi exist, and they depend, of course, very much on the cultures, on the different cultures that read him. The Center for Jewish History is a consortium of research organizations studying and collecting and preserving the history of Jewish communities from all over the world. Centro Primo Levi has become its Italian chapter and has proven to be very interesting because the history of the Italian Jewish communities is certainly the longest, the Italian Jewish community is the most ancient of all the European communities, and has also been the ground of mediation between the Middle East, the Jewish history that happens in antiquity in the Middle East and the Mediterranean area and Northern Europe. We intentionally started as an organization that can live both a social and a virtual life. And the site is not only a way through which of course, we communicate the program, but the site per se now is becoming a real multifunctional information platform, where 4 times a year we provide, for instance, information on everything in Italian Jewish studies for scholars only. That happens in the States, in the Americas, in Europe, in Italy, in Israel, and through this platform a lot of people are becoming connected. The 3 main projects of the fall are the International Symposium Primo Levi, October 25th, 26th and 27th, the Residency of Lia Levi on November 2nd through the 5th, and the Day on the Jews of Piedmont on December 8th. There are other events during the season, and for those you should check our calendar, but these are the 3 main extended projects of the center. The entire full season is somehow dedicated in one way or the other to Piedmont, to the region of Piedmont. And for the first year we have introduced a special opening of the symposium. There is a concert. We have discovered that many contemporary composers have dedicated work to Levi, and we have decided that each year we're going to stage one of them. And we're starting with the Israeli composer Tzvi Avni, who wrote a beautiful suite for piano and soprano based on 5 poems of Primo Levi, and this will be on October 25th. It will be the opening of the days of study. We have 2 days with 2 main topics. On the 26th, a Casa Italiana de Marimont, we will analyze the importance of Primo Levi in Italy today. What happened to the figure of Primo Levi? This first day is really dedicated to Primo Levi in Italy, and the understanding of his ideas grew as part of not only the intellectual debate, but the society. And I think there are 2 elements that truly developed after his death. And one is the reflection on the idea of memory, that Primo Levi saw as a very complex item. And this topic will be discussed by Ernesto Ferrero, who has been a long time editor at an audience, so the editor of Primo Levi during almost his entire career. The second topic that is also based in Italy is the reading that the philosopher Jojo Camden did of Levi's book, something that has since the beginning been very controversial, that has attracted a lot of criticism in terms of his, for instance, his interpretation of the figure of the Muslim man, the doomed man in the camp. And yet has had the merit of bringing the ideas of Levi and the discourse on Levi to audiences and to groups of scholars who probably would have not come in touch with him. The second day at CUNY Graduate Center is, like every year, dedicated to Primo Levi in translation. I would say that the highlight of our spring is the first gathering of the scholars who have studied the experience of the Italian Jewish expatriates in America following the racial laws of 1938, and who have helped us create a project that is called Me Ricordo, and is a project that is part of oral history and part of actual historical documentation of the lives and the work of this group of expatriates. We'll have a program of 2 days, one more, I would say, open to the public, and the presentation of a book by Renato Camurri of the University of Verona on Franco Modigliani, on the economist Franco Modigliani. And the second day will be a real symposium at Columbia, where scholars who have studied different figures and different aspects of this particular chapter of immigration will come together and share material. We felt that this was very crucial. We have people who have done a lot of oral and social history, people who have studied particular figures, Franco Modigliani or Paolo Milano or Silvana Rieti, many of the scientists who came following the racial laws, and people who have looked more at the social fabric of, did this group ever coalesced in some sort of community, what happened with the clash with the fascism and anti-fascism of the Italian Americans in New York. What were the relationship that started within the Jewish world, or did these Italians somehow assimilated to one or the other community, or to neither? So it's, I think, there are a whole number of issues, some sociological, some personal, and some that have to do with the ideas that they contributed to the American society that are quite important.